Welcome back to Spoiler Free Wrestling, everyone. And this is your Spoiler Free Wrestling News Update for March 22nd, 2019. So, the top story on our site at the moment, and there is another video out about this as well, is King Kong Bundy's cats need a forever home. Bundy was a huge cat lover, and at least 4 of his cats still need new homes. I think that's actually wrong. I think as many as 10. Some were saying that all of these cats need homes. If you are in the southern New Jersey area, the cats are being fostered by the Perfect Angels Cat Rescue. Kind of what I said in the other video. If you love cats and you love wrestling and you're not too far from New Jersey, this is a great opportunity for you to do something really awesome. I mean, if you like wrestling and you like cats, how awesome would it be to look after one of King Kong Bundy's cats after his passing? That's a pretty cool thing to do, and it's an awesome story, right? People come over like, hey, you guys ever heard of King Kong Bundy? And then if they're my friends, they'll be like, stop talking about wrestling, Ian. And like, oh. They'll be like, this is King Kong Bundy's cats. I'm like, oh, all right. That's pretty cool. So if you're interested, it's the Perfect Angels Cat Rescue. It's located in southern New Jersey. There's links up at spoilerfreewrestling.com and in the show notes. What an awesome thing to do. And if you are cool enough to adopt one of King Kong Bundy's cats, please contact the site and let us know. We don't have anything cool to give you, but, hey. Keeping with news from WWE, Becky Lynch was at the Warriors-Pacers game last night, and the Warriors' social media sent out a video of her trashing Ronda Rousey. I mean, Lynch didn't really go too deep. She just said that Ronda was holding the title hostage and that she'd be there to take it from her at MetLife Stadium at WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio Jr. sent out the following on Instagram, and it was 4 years ago today that Perro Aguayo Jr. died. And, of course, that was during a match that Rey Mysterio was in as well in Mexico. It's a very sad time for wrestling fans. The New Japan Cup 2019 is into the Final Four. The semifinals will go on Saturday, the finals on Sunday. We put out a video going into more detail about the New Japan Cup. We broke down the semifinals. We took a look at win-loss records between the wrestlers still left in the tournament. And we also looked at some of their win-loss records against Jay White, who will defend his IWGP Heavyweight Championship against whoever wins the New Japan Cup on Sunday. Also on Sunday, there will be the finals of the New Japan Cup, but the semi-main event, or actually possibly the main event, no, it'd be the semi-main event, is Juice Robinson defending the IWGP United States Championship against Chase Owens. Chase Owens actually beat Juice Robinson in the opening round of the tournament in what has to be considered an upset, and one of the bigger singles match victories for Owens in his career, and it was enough to earn him a title match against Juice Robinson on the final night of the tournament. So Owens was eliminated in the next round by Yoshihashi. However, Chase Owens, with a chance to win a top singles belt in New Japan Pro Wrestling on Sunday. The other thing to consider going into that match is that there's still some openings for match announcements for the G1 Supercard in Madison Square Garden. It's likely the IWGP United States Championship will be defended on that show. However, that will depend on what happens on Sunday. If Owens beats Robinson, we might get a rematch between the two at the G1 Supercard in Madison Square Garden. However, if Juice Robinson's title defense is successful this weekend, we might see a new challenger come out of the woodworks and make a challenge to Juice. Still, before we get to the G1 Supercard, There's also going to be the Road to the G1 Supercard put on by Ring of Honor on March 31st. And Juice Robinson, of course, one of the leaders of Lifeblood in Ring of Honor, has been playing a much larger role in that promotion so far in 2019. So what Juice Robinson ends up doing in Madison Square Garden in a few weeks might be determined based on what happens on Ring of Honor TV or at that Road to G1 Supercard show on March 31st, which I think would be a week from Sunday as I open my calendar. Yeah, that's a week from Sunday. So a week from Sunday, so 6 days out from the actual G1 Supercard in Madison Square Garden. In terms of All Elite Wrestling, one thing that was talked about on Jim Ross's podcast, which was released Wednesday morning, but we're getting to it now. Ross said that he is talking with All Elite Wrestling. His people and their people are doing their thing. Now, Ross is officially out from under his WWE contract, I believe, at the end of this week. So I guess there's something in his contract which is allowing him to negotiate before it's over. But regardless, I think it's fairly certain that Jim Ross will be on his way to All Elite Wrestling, to AEW. Don't know if he's going to call Double or Nothing. He will be contractually free to do so, I believe, unless there's something I'm not aware of. And he mentioned on his podcast, and it was a good podcast. I don't know if I finished it, but he said, I mean, he mentioned that WWE has taken care of him financially for the rest of his life. And he brought up how he was given stock options before the company went public, which means JR is rich. JR's got bank. So he said, like, you know, he's not really doing this for the money, but he's doing this because, you know, he likes to stay busy. And he lost his wife last year. And, you know, he's an empty nester and a widower. And you got to do stuff. You got to keep your mind active. You got to give yourself a purpose. You got to get out there. I mean, when you're, you know, and that's what kind of scares me about retirement. Well, I mean, not scared because I'm nowhere near it, but it's like, what are you just going to stop doing stuff? JR got into wrestling because he loves wrestling. Why stop? And he was under contract with WWE, but they weren't using him. And he was just getting paid to sit at home. He was getting paid to not sign a deal with World of Sport in the UK. And he was getting signed so that he didn't go to another promotion. But now, what another promotion would pay him is more than what WWE is willing to pay him to not. Or actually, we don't even know that. We don't know that JR wasn't offered as much money as AEW is offering him. And he just said, no, I'd rather work. This isn't about money. I want something to do. I want to get out of my house and go do something. I want to go to Double or Nothing. Why not describe what's going to what's happening into a microphone while I'm there and collect a paycheck? I mean, Jim Ross, if you haven't listened to his book, oh, and I almost have an Audible sponsorship thing happening, but I can't mention it on YouTube. But if you go to Audible and you do a free trial, one of the books that you can pick up is Jim Ross's My Life or Slobberknocker, My Life in Wrestling, or whatever it's called. And I would have to rank it as one of the best wrestling books ever. And I much prefer audiobooks because you can just plug in your earbuds and listen to them while you're, you know, at the gym or whatever. Jim Ross's is fantastic. And it doesn't even cover his whole career. Like, there's more of that story left to be told. But Jim Ross is going to be a play-by-play guy in professional wrestling again in 2019. Something we haven't seen a lot of. I mean, we've seen him do some stuff for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but we definitely didn't see him do his best stuff. I don't think what JR has done throughout his career was that good of a fit for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I think what he does is going to be more of a fit for what AEW does, which does sound like it's going to be a lot more old school. But yeah, that's what's going on with Jim Ross. Finishing up a couple of other news bits today. Rhea Ripley tweeted out this photo of her walking around in a walking boot. And fans of the 22-year-old from Australia are likely concerned that this will mean Ripley's going to miss some time. However, the women's wrestling website Squared Circle Sirens said they snooped around and found out that nobody's too worried that she's going to miss much time. She had just been dealing with some lingering issues. Decided to get it checked out. She got it checked out. And yeah, as a walking boot on, they think it's just sort of she sprained some stuff and needs to stay off it for a bit. Not expected to miss much time. And finally, Silas Young tweeted out the following about having been left off the ROH 17th anniversary pay-per-view recently. And he said, working for Ring of Honor is like an abusive marriage. 6 years in sickness and health, and when it's the big show, it's sorry got nothing for you. Oh. Young, not mincing words, not happy he wasn't included. And he was sending this out like 6 days after that pay-per-view. That pay-per-view was held on March 15th. He sent this out on March 21st. So what after 6 days had him decide, all right, I'm going to send this out now? Did he get more angry over 6 days? Or maybe it had just been gnawing at him for a while. He did compete there at the TV tapings that were held the night before, or the night after, excuse me. And that's pretty much all that's going on in... Wait a second, is it Friday? It is Friday. Well, we got to do an Impact Wrestling preview then. And I know there'll be some wrestling fans out there that'll roll their eyes at that, but come on, Impact's doing a lot better. So let's see what is going on. What are the matches on tap for Impact Wrestling tonight? And we have... So John Morrison, Johnny Impact, is going to explain why he pulled the big swerve on Brian Cage last week. Then Sami Callihan versus Rich Swann in singles action. Eddie Edwards and Eli Drake are going to team up again to go up against KM and Fallah Bahh. Moose will go up against Trey from the Rascals. Willie Mack will take on All Ego Ethan Page. And Ace Austin will be in action as well. That's Impact Wrestling. Gets going at 10 p.m. tonight on Pursuit, but also on Twitch. If you're around at 10 p.m. or you just got your phone out and are able to watch Impact Wrestling at twitch.tv/Impact Wrestling from 10 o'clock to 12. Impact Wrestling. There's no commercials. But during the commercials, either Melissa Santos or Don Callis comes on and really has no filter. They just say whatever. And it's kind of entertaining. Of course, Impact is building to the United We Stand pay-per-view on April the 4th, which will feature the Lucha Bros going up against Rob Van Dam and Sabu. Low-Ki is also now scheduled to be on that card as well. And it's sort of interesting to wonder, hey, maybe we're going to get RVD and Sabu, or at least RVD, in Impact Wrestling a little bit. I mean, RVD you can still put him out there. He's a little bit older. And the thing with Rob Van Dam is As he's gotten older, he's sort of slowed down a lot, and his style was sort of based on not being slow. But he's 48. You know, you can still put him out there. How old is Sabu? Sabu, the wrestler, is 54. So that's pushing it a little bit. But, you know, you can still put those guys out there. And Low Ki, you know, maybe we'll see a little bit of Low Ki back in Impact Wrestling as well. He had a great run with the MLW World Championship. And, of course, lost that title to Filthy Tom Lawler. And I think that's it. That's all that's going on. Actually, while we're at it, let's do a preview from Major League Wrestling this week. Major League Wrestling. Have they announced what's going on? They will have a show which will air on beIN Sports tomorrow. TV. Let's see if they have any type of preview up here. Not really. Well, last week there was a big... The Hart Foundation and the Dynasty resulted in a big brawl after Alex Hammerstone interfered, causing the disqualification victory for the Hart Foundation. MLW's a great show. Just check it out every week. If you don't have beIN Sports, it's up on MLW's YouTube channel, usually by 12 noon the next day. It's one of, if not my favorite wrestling shows each week, honestly. It's great. But that's it for today in wrestling, everybody. Want to ask, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, tick that like box, or share this content any way you know how. Thanks again, everybody. I'm the Guy from Spoiler Free Wrestling.